Well, I was born in the west of Donegal and I lived there till I was about 9 or 10. And at that stage, my family moved to Kildare. And when I left school then, Dublin was the obvious option for me at that stage. It was quite near to home in Kildare. So I moved to Dublin after school, studied in Dublin and got my first job there in AIB. And my background's in information technology. So I worked in AIB in the IT department in Ballsbridge. When I had my son, I started to think about moving outside to a more rural location. I had a very happy childhood myself in the country, and I wanted that for my own child. So I did some research. The West attracted me. I felt it had a lot to offer. Having been from the West of Donegal, I knew the advantages, and I had family up here as well. So when I started looking, I was very lucky in that I found a startup company about to open in Letterkenny. So I applied for that, and as a result, I was one of the first people into Primerica in Letterkenny. I've been in Primerica now. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary next year. It's been a really exciting 10 years. There's nothing like being in a company from the start and seeing it growing and seeing new people coming in. So I chose to move here initially for lifestyle and for my son, but my career has also benefited as a result of it, which has been a lovely side effect for me from the move. The house I live in here is about twice or 3 times the size of the house I lived in Dublin, and I bought it, I think, for 1/3 of the price. So, you know, it's just, the difference is huge. And similarly for people renting, rents in Letterkenny are half or 1/3 of what they are in Dublin. A huge advantage to living in the west of Ireland over a big centre such as Dublin is the reduction in commuting time. When I was in Dublin, I was living in Ranelagh, which really isn't that far from Ballsbridge for anyone that knows Dublin. I dropped my son to Rathmines to school and then drove into Ballsbridge. That took me an hour on a good morning. It could take longer depending on traffic. Here in Letterkenny, I'm 10 minutes into work every single day. My son's collected by bus and brought to a school. So the reduction in that, in the stress levels in the morning, in the irritation factor on the roads before you get to work is, I couldn't oversell it. It just does make such a difference. And the same in the evenings, getting home. I'm out of the office and home in my house 10 minutes later every single day, despite the fact that I live in a beautiful rural location outside the town.